Star, working out in the ring. She's just drinking water, trying to keep hydrated. She opens her locker door and she sees a spider, in which she is not a fan of. I'll tell you that right now. And it's kind of weird just seeing that little bit of weakness. I mean, I've not seen all the seasons of Lucha Underground, but it's really weird to see Sexy Star actually look intimidated, actually look scared, because all through her career, I've seen her just be like this fearless, don't take shit from anybody woman who just comes out and just says, screw you, I'm not going to be afraid of you. But then to see her have that face of horror, seeing that spider, was just like, whoa. I mean, wow. And then there's a backstage segment which we see Mariposa and Sexy Star kind of get into it, and then Sexy Star has Mariposa up against the wall with her hand around her throat, basically accusing Mariposa of it. And Mariposa said, hey, if I would have done it, then it would be a beautiful butterfly, not something ugly like a spider. So she's basically ruling out that Mariposa had anything to do with it. And then the coolest thing, Mariposa gets her head out of the way just before Sexy Star does this massive punch, and she punches through a wall. She basically looks like freaking Wonder Woman. It's awesome. I loved it. It looked like she was just $1,000,000. It just was a cool spot. Then we get on to the main event, which was the final first round match. We see Jack Evans versus PJ Black versus Son of Havoc versus Angelico, and the winner will join the Mac, Cage, and Jeremiah Crane in the final Fatal 4-Way elimination matchup, which I want to talk about in just a minute. But this matchup was a little more well-based. It wasn't as hardcore as extreme as the first matchup, but it was still pretty good. The ending was very surprising, actually, because honestly, I picked Angelico to be the odds-on favorite. I'm thinking, well, this is obviously setting up for Angelico versus Johnny Mundo for a future Lucha Underground championship matchup. There's no way that they're going to pass by that opportunity. But PJ Black and Jack Evans, it looked like they were going to do like the whole finger poke of doom deal where one of them lies down and the other one just covers them 1, 2, 3. But PJ Black actually surprises the world by pinning Jack Evans with a small package and qualifying for the finals of the Battle of the Bulls tournament. And then we see what seemed like it was going to be a show of respect, but PJ Black just did the whole, oh, too good for you thing, where he just, goes to shake the hand, but then he does like the whole hair slick thing. And it was very interesting, to say the least. So the interesting thing that I want to bring up about this whole Fatal 4-Way elimination matchup is that if they do it next week, it's going to be the same time that they do the Fatal 4-Way elimination matchup for NXT. It's just one of those things that's kind of coincidental. I don't know if maybe WWE got the idea after Lucha Underground, because we have to remember that Lucha Underground had all these things premeditated and they were ready to go. So it's more one of those things where it's like, is this kind of what WWE thought would be a good idea at the time? Or is this something that they ripped off Lucha Underground? I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, which one side do you believe? Do you believe that they did that on their own, or do you believe that they looked at it and it's like, oh, we haven't done that in a while, let's do this? I don't know. It just seems very coincidental that WWE kind of did the same concept where it's like, 4 qualifying matches, winners go to a Fatal 4-Way elimination match, and they be the number 1 contender. It's really weird. But I'm not going to complain, really. So I honestly don't know who I'm going to even pick for that, because all 4 of these guys, they busted their asses and they looked great. And I'm thinking that Cage is going to be gone, because he still has to finish up that best of 5 series with Tejano. I'm surprised they even put him in the matchup to begin with. The Mac is a maybe. I think they were probably going to go with Jeremiah Crane, I should say. I just don't see them doing anything with PJ Black. I don't think they're going to do like a big, massive turn in which we see PJ Black, somehow go on and beat Johnny Mundo, or like a turn or something like that. I don't see that happening, so I think it's going to be Jeremiah Crane. It ends, the Lucha Underground episode ends another interesting way, in which we see El Dragon Azteca Jr. confronting Rey Mysterio Jr., who is still feeling a lot of pain from the Matanza assault. And Rey Mysterio and Dragon Azteca, they're talking about Matanza, and Azteca just basically says, I'm going after Matanza. And Rey Mysterio grabs him and he says, "Hey, this is not your fight. Let me fight my own battles," basically. And Dragon Azteca just says, "I'm not doing this for you. I've been in your shadow for too long. I'm doing this for me." And Dragon Azteca walks away. So I guess they're going to be promoting. They're definitely going to have the matchup between Matanza and Mysterio. I think at the Ultima Lucha 3. I am very curious on how El Dragon Azteca is going to come into play. Is he going to turn on Mysterio and be heel, or is he just going to be? He's going to be some kind of a factor. You have to believe that. I just don't know. That these things are just getting more and more interesting as the weeks go by. So, going to be interesting to see how that goes next week. Like I said, Lucha Underground Championship will be on the line, as we will see Sexy Star take on Johnny Mundo inside of a steel cage. The Battle of the Bulls tournament finals have been set. I am looking forward to seeing how this goes. I'm wondering how this whole Cobra Moon Drago thing plays out. But all in all, this has been a very productive night for professional wrestling. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out next week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Wrestle Wednesdays. Of course, you can find us on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IW Nerd, as well as Satchel Podcast Player, and Mr. NTG 1990 on the YouTube. You can also check out Spencer Hart on Twitter at SpencerHartTSC. You can check out Mr. Max Beatty at Agent Cooper 1989, as well as his YouTube pages, which are going to have quite a bit coming up. Check them out, Agent Cooper on YouTube. And be sure to also hit me up at Nate Effin Great on Twitter. So that is going to wrap it up. Like I said, on Change the F Up, I am going to be starting to do the membership thing for our sponsors, ProWrestlingCrate.com. So be sure to tune in to see the first unboxing of that, as well as AJ'sBelts.com. You guys definitely go check them out. They are awesome. They have replica championship belts, new and old, that you cannot find anywhere else. And you can also take advantage of their exclusive layaway program, as well as their PayPal credit to get your championship belts today. It's really cool. So definitely check that out. I am on the verge of probably falling asleep, so that's why I'm kind of like over here and over here and over here. So I do apologize to anybody that I may have really messed around with, but I am going to probably get something to eat and then fall asleep. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this edition of Wrestle Talk Wednesdays, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.